Hello viewers. So far we have seen in the module 8 advanced query concept about the store procedures in the 8.1. Then we saw the 8.2 transactions. Let us just see 8.3 the functions. Okay, let us just understand about the module number 8.3.6 system functions, the conversion functions. Okay. Now within the conversion functions, there are three kind of functions are there. First one is the try cast, the second one is the try convert, and then the third one is the try parse. What is try cast? Try cast returns the specified data type on successful cast, else it will return you the null value of it. Okay. Secondly, it doesn't work for the following scenario. It doesn't work for what? It doesn't work for the varchar max if the length is over 8000. It also doesn't work for nvarchar max if the length is over 4000 characters. Okay. Then the try convert function. Try convert function is returning the specified data type on successful execution, or if the cast doesn't perform well, or if it has any issues, then it will return you the null value for that. Okay. Then the try parse function. Try parse function will do what? It will return you the specific data type on a successful parsing. Otherwise, it will return you the null value. Now, this function is specifically used in the case of converting a string to date and time and the number types only. Okay. For other cases, we will not use this try parse function. Okay. Now let us just see few examples using all three of these functions. So first of all, we will try to understand the try cast. Select case when try cast. Within that, we are just passing a static string. To that string, we wanted to convert it in an unexpected format, which is a float. Because this is a completely a string, there is nothing like a number which we can convert it in a float. So in that case, what ideally will happen is the string function or the try-cast function will definitely return the result as null, because it could not convert the string into the float value. So it will return you the null, and in that case the value no will come up in the result, right? Let's just run and see. Okay, so that is what as per expectation. Try cast is valid? No, that's not a valid typecast, right? Then second format validation check, right? So suppose say if we want to validate the date format based on this trycast function. Say we are using the trycast function, we are passing the first argument or maybe a value or maybe a column that you pass in a string format. You may pass it, and that string you would like to convert as if like a date time to format. But before you pass into that, your current date format has been set to DMY, means DDMMYY, day, month and year. Whereas you are passing the date in which format? You are passing the date in the month, day and year, and that format is not aligned with the format that you have set over here. So definitely it may not give you the expected result, and what it will return you is, it will return you the null value for that, right? So see, right, as per the expectation it is returning with the null value. Why? Because the format is different. The number that you have passed or the date format you have passed is different format than the one which you have set up over here. Then the explicit cast not permitted error. How will this kind of error be displayed? Because suppose say if there is a number you are passing to it and you wanted to try cast that number into a string. So imagine that a number can be a string? No, right? So in that case, what is the expected version is explicit cast cannot be performed for that, right? So once you execute this, it will just say this error: explicit conversion from the data type integer to the text format is not allowed, right? So that is not an allowed type try cast, right? And then the format, if you set it to the correct format, how you are passing the date in these parameters, that is how you will set the date format in your system, the SQL Server system. Then it will set the date format in the month, day and year wise pattern. And then if you just run the same function, try cast, and then the date, and then the as date time 2, so it will do what? It will return you the respective date format, right? So it has converted the month, day and year format, but as per the system side, it is going to give you the year, month and day type of return result, okay, for that, because it has converted the entire date into the date time 2 format, not just the date format, because we are just passing the date here as an input, but it has converted with the date and time part of it as well, right? All right. Now then the last part of it, where try parse is what we would like to understand. So use try parse only for converting from string to the date, time and the number types, okay? Second point is like use cast or convert for the other cases. If you do not see a kind of a string to be parsed, so in that case what you will use is you will try to cast it, or maybe you will try to convert it using the two of these functions, okay? And then the third point to remember is it can cause the performance overhead when you will parse the string data using the try parse function, okay? Now by default, earlier also we have set up this date format mdy so that it will remain the same. We will not need to set it again, but just for your information I had it mentioned over here. Now you are trying to use what? You are trying to use the language function. So you are trying to set the language for the SQL Server as an English, and then you would like to use the function called try parse. Within that you will pass the for date in the format called month, then day and then year. Month, day and year as date time 2. If this format is not a compliant, or maybe if this function is unable to parse this date into the date time 2 format, then it will return what? It will return the value as null. And if it will return null, then what will happen is that yes will become true. And if this function is not returning a null value, instead it is returning an appropriate value out of this function, then it will go to the else part of it and display the no as a output. Okay, let us just see. Right, so it has entered into the else part, means it has got particular date returning out of this function. So say like if you want to see, okay, let me just copy this much part and want to see here, okay, show you here. So if you run this, then you will see the date part of it, right? So that is why it is returning you no in the result, because there is no null value coming out of this function after you do the parsing of it, right? That's why. So that's all I just wanted to cover up in this module. So thank you, have a nice day and happy learning.